Welcome to The Watching Dead, the officially unofficial podcast for The Walking Dead on AMC. I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron.
And today we're talking about Season 11, Episode 12, titled The Lucky Ones. Aaron, what'd you think? Are we the lucky ones getting to watch this episode? Is that what they're saying to me?
I don't feel lucky. I don't feel lucky.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It's one of those episodes.
Well, I mean, this wasn't a bad episode. It's just one of the... It's just starting to feel like... I don't know. We were just talking about this on lunch before we recorded. That, like, I felt like The Walking Dead went through another mini golden era in Season 9 and, like, the first... Until, like, the last 3 or 4 episodes of Season 10. But it does feel like the wheels are coming off a little bit in terms of, you know... I don't know, there's a lot of things that just feel like going through the numbers. I actually thought that the social commentary they're going for was a little bit more on target this episode, a little bit more interesting, a little bit more nuanced, because you got essentially the power brokers talking about how they broker power. But stuff like just the zombies just feels so like, well, shit, it's been a couple minutes since the one showed up. Let's go ahead and throw one in there. Stuff like that. It just, there's a little bit of the wheezing towards the finish line going on here. But it was better than last episode, and some of the stuff that they're doing was interesting. What'd you think about it?
Yeah, I definitely like it better than last episode. I felt like when Maggie and Pamela are sitting down talking, we're kind of getting maybe a different social commentary than I expected, and one that might be better. I felt like there was a tension coming out in this episode that was between like large communities of people and small communities of people, not necessarily like, you know, draconian authoritarian systems versus, you know, social whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit more interested in that because I think there is something to say for small communities. You know, we've talked many times in the past about how you can really only care for X amount of people in your life. It's 200, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. Yeah.
Right. So you get these small communities and everybody can be a leader, right? You don't need to have one person's vision dominating over everybody else's. And that's, you know, when you put that into Lance's terms, right, where he is talking with Maggie and saying, wouldn't it feel great to have 50,000 people working on your vision of the future? I'm like, yeah, that might feel great for Maggie, but how do those other 50,000 people feel, right? Have they been consulted on their vision of the future? Why aren't we working as a community to build a vision of the future? Those things were more interesting to me, more something I was willing to engage with more in this very silly show that has a bunch of, you know, obligatory walker scenes too.
I agree in the fact that there's realistic drama, like, you know, Maggie thinking that she's making a decision for Hilltop, and then like a third of Hilltop's like, you know what? Fuck this. Wish you well. Don't hate you, but we're tired. We're tired of living like dirty little road hippies. I thought that was kind of neat, and that there was a believable kind of sense of not betrayal and surprise, but definitely that too. And worry that she's not making the right decision. Yeah, sure.
It felt,
and that it might be fucking up other people's deals too. Like, okay, well, you want the right to self-determination and you want everybody to be the boss, but like if 2 of the 3 other communities don't, and it's a package deal, like what price your individualism and freedom compared to the safety and health and well-being of the other people in the community?
And I thought when we got into you know, them talking about how Oceanside isn't on board unless Hilltop is on board, and that being a problem, I was like, why is this in any way a problem? Just bring Alexandria into the fold. Who gives a shit about the other 2? Yeah. But then they make an explicit point that like, this is about Lance's ambition too, and he wanted to kind of create his own little empire within the empire, and that made it make all the more sense. So I felt like they were pretty smart in that way. And by the end of this episode, I was no longer side-eyeing some of the questions I had before.
Yeah, I agree. Although I was side-eyeing Oceanside. Like, I thought Oceanside was destroyed. I don't know why people are starving. You got a community 20 minutes away on the ocean in the apocalypse. What, did you run out of fish?
This nullifies everything that happened in the last half season, right?
Yeah, man.
It was stupid to bring Oceanside back into the mix because, the fact that they exist means none of that stuff had to happen. But here we are, halfway through season 11, and I guess that's just the show we're going to get.
Yeah, I thought that pane of glass was destroyed. I don't know. What
happens? What happens in the writer's room when they go, shit, we just created a conundrum that actually isn't one, and we have written an entire half season around this arc that could have been so easily solved by simply moving people to an existing community.
They say, cocktails, let's settle this tomorrow. And then they just go, then they forget and they start breaking the next episode. So.
Yeah, they see their paychecks come in and they're like, it's not so bad. My life's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, must be.
So we don't usually have breaking news, but we had a little bit of news broke this week. It was brought to us by many, many people, but the first one by my counts is Christian E., who says, will they please just stop already? And she sent, or maybe he, sent a EW, an Entertainment Weekly article that says there's a new Walking Dead spinoff called Isle of the Dead, which will see Maggie and Negan working together in a zombie-filled Manhattan. Now, like I mentioned, there's this kind of like, I thought there's been a new golden age ever since the Kang era began, where they had a solid run of a show that seems like it likes its characters and respects its world and is not going to lean on lazy zombie, stealth zombie tropes and generate gripping stories, and they're not going to overstay their welcome. But I've noticed that there's been a little bit of reversal and like Walking Dead revert back to the mean. Is it just that Kang's frustrated that, like, God damn, this is the last season of The Walking Dead. Who can I kill? Who can I kill? I can't kill Carol. I can't kill Daryl. I can't kill Maggie. I can't kill Negan. Like, spin off Gabriel and Aaron. I double fucking dare you, because what? We got Eugene and Rosita are going to be the ones that we can plausibly put into danger.
Prison Tats, Yumiko, maybe. I don't know.
Highly competent Boger, maybe. And Professor Rob, where's Professor Rob, by the way? Filming Unspeakable Beast 3 or whatever.
No, he was at Oceanside, right? We didn't get to see him. No one was there to give him a big returning hug like they did at Hilltop with Lydia.
Exactly. I think this is a real problem, because if you had to rank me, ask me to rank the remaining like people alive in The Walking Dead, Judith is number one. Like, if she got killed, I'd be devastated. But like Maggie and Negan and Carol and especially and Daryl are right up there. Like, you are now just drawing a bright white line around them and being like, they cannot be harmed because they have to get to Manhattan and wherever the hell Daryl and Carol are going. It must be really frustrating for Angela Kang to work under these kind of constraints.
Probably so. Yeah. I mean, the probably saving grace here is that I'm sure she knew about this stuff way before we did. So you're writing a final season knowing that stuff. But yeah, it still ties your hands.
It's very much ties your hands. Like I said, they got the plausible deaths they can play with is Aaron, Gabe, Rosita, and Eugene.
Yeah. And
of those, maybe Gabriel. I've got like starting to get an attachment, but the others I don't really care about.
Yeah, it's kind of turning The Walking Dead into a prequel in a certain way, right? We always talk about prequels where like, oh, we know these characters can't die, so any jeopardy you put them in physically is not really exciting because you know they're going to make it out relatively unscathed. And yeah, this is starting to get a little bit of that prequelitis.
Well, not only that, but like there was some, like we've been talking about these first 2 weeks, like there is some drama about, because I didn't buy that Negan was going to take off for good, but like how is Maggie and Negan going to bury the baseball bat between them? You know, like this is the guy who beat the brains out of this one's husband in a pretty brutal fashion, but yet he has, done a lot of growing and changing, and Rick's overall strategy of mercy overcoming his wrath has proven to be the right, that's kind of interesting. How do these characters work together? Well, now not only are they going to die, but there's no real, like, they're going to eventually come to some sort of uneasy alliance. They have to, because they're going to be in a fucking spinoff together. Right. It really takes the wind AMC's marketing and hype department just continually steals the thunder from their current project to build hype for a next project that I don't like. I mean, I've been watching this for a decade, dude. A decade of them doing this, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's the thing. It feels desperate to me. It feels like an attempt to create something that I'm not sure anybody wants, which is a Walking Dead universe. Like, they're already losing people on their main show. So they spin off 3-4 other shows, and they think that won't further fragment the audience and reduce ratings across the board. I don't know. It seems like a strange strategy to me, but what do I know? I'm not a marketing exec. I'm not a producer.
Poor Lauren Cohen has tried to escape the show once before. She got pulled back in, and now she's probably optioned for 5 seasons of, you know, whatever it is. I feel bad. Although she is getting, it'd be funny if his Isle of Dead, because it's, you know, that's like, sounds like I Love the Dead. Isle of Dead. But it's Isle of the Dead, so they can't even get the cool Isle of Dead thing going.
Romero made an Isle of the Dead type movie. His not Land, not Diary. It might have been Isle of the Dead. I can't remember.
Is that the one Bud the zombie, the cowboy zombie, or the?
No, I don't think so. It's a bunch of like Irish people on an island with the dead. I don't know. It was weird, man.
Some say all the Irish people are on an island. It's called Ireland.
Some say.
Some would say.
They might say. Just put zombies in Ireland and you've got a show.
You do.
Anyway, I don't know what they're doing with this stuff, but they're doing it. They're doing it regardless. I feel like this is all job security for Scott Gimple, because he knows once this shit is over, I got nowhere to go. I've made one of the worst modern era shows, prestige shows. Right.
I have run a 20,000 strong show into the ground.
I've turned it into nothing. I've crumbled this empire from within. No one's going to hire me for this, beyond this. So I got to make these shows last.
Yeah. Well, it sucks. So if you've had death bets on Negan or Maggie, gonna have to pull them. It's gonna be a no contest. We're gonna have to just kind of give your money back. Yeah.
All right. I think we should get into the recap. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, but first, let's take a quick break. All right, we start off with real Stephanie. I think her name is Max. Tells Eugene her side of the story in the weirdest way possible. She's telling Eugene how they talked about everything and nothing. There's this weird romantic, like poetic sort of storytelling thing they're doing here that only works if she's talking to the audience and not Eugene.
That's what she's doing.
Definitely talking to Eugene, because she uses his name as if she's like, and these are the things that happened with us, Eugene.
Oh, God.
It's very weird.
I thought it was just clunky because she went from talking to the audience with an omniscient kind of point of view to then continuing the conversation she was having with Eugene from the episode before.
Maybe,
but that's not super not clunky either.
It just felt weird to me. She tells him her side of the story. She found this radio and Mercer caught her talking to Eugene and shut the whole thing down. And then when Eugene showed up in Commonwealth, she was sad that Eugene was hanging out with fake Stephanie and enjoying it. So she kept quiet. And here's where things get dicey in this scene. So she tells him that the name was fake and he's had enough, and he runs off. There's this weird twist of logic that happens somewhere in this scene where somehow this becomes Eugene's fault, that he met up with fake Stephanie, was unable to detect that fake Stephanie, who is saying and doing pretty much all the right things as far as I remember, is not actually real Stephanie, and that it's his fault for not determining that and calling bullshit, and then finding the real Stephanie, aka Max. He ends up apologizing for that, which to me is the exact wrong thing that should happen here. This is the wrong idea.
I agree. In fact, when he went to her door later in this episode, she slams the door, tries to slam the door in his face. I'm like, what the fuck? Because from his perspective, as he's like tears in his eyes, he's like, "You're the real Stephanie?" She's like, "No, I'm Max." And he's like, "You know what? Fuck all this. Fuck these games. Fuck whatever." I don't blame him. And they did play it as if he was the asshole here. I don't think anyone was the asshole because it doesn't seem like anyone asked Max, like, is this cool? It's just also resolved a lot of things that I didn't make sense in my mind. Like we talked about. So what's the deal? People just take turns working shifts of this ham radio, trying to contact people, and then they catfish them, and they use the governor's chief of staff to do it, but then they switch her. So she did all this clandestinely. This was all junk, just like Eugene did. This is all junk ham radio stuff. She's Mercer's brother. She's high level in the government, but she's doing all this secret. And then Mercer finds out and I think offers this up to Hornsby on a silver platter in exchange for like clemency. And that kind of makes sense. But it also makes me wonder, was this whole thing a setup from the beginning? Because even Stephanie / Max is like, this stuff was just laying outside and it would be against official Commonwealth policy to just lay it out. So it must be trash, but it wasn't trash. It's a fully functional ham radio. This shit was just laying around.
Yeah.
And the Commonwealth does have an official ham radio department. How did she avoid detection by those people?
Well, I think that's what the fake name was about, right? Using the name Stephanie means they won't know who is actually transmitting. So that made a certain amount of sense.
Okay. I would just think they'd be able to tell like the signals coming in from within the walls. You know, if they have another ham radio department. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw Independence Day. I know you can triangulate signals.
Sure. But yeah, I didn't blame Eugene at all for going through everything he went through last episode, and then because like I said, we joked about last, like the funniest thing that happened would be for Hornsby just to start at the catfish again with just a different Stephanie.
And how is he not immediately just thinking all of this is bullshit? He is, right?
He is, but if that's their plan, he's ready to be fooled again by the end of this episode.
Totally. The other thing, like, about like Eugene twisting this on himself, because he kind of twists himself up in this scene. It's not like
he does a bit.
Stephanie. It's not like Max is really pushing the idea that he should be sorry for it, but like she does bring up, "Oh, you didn't realize it wasn't me." But it's like, you know, the idea that like I should read your mind and figure out that something is wrong and exactly what I did wrong, and then I should apologize for it before you ever have to say anything. No, fucking communicate. Like it's your fault for seeing him with this other woman and not coming up and saying, actually, I'm the real Max. We talked. But
she didn't do that because this was an official plan. Like she was aware of it, right? Like I think she was aware.
Well, the way she frames it sounded like she saw him happy with Stephanie and decided not to break up that budding relationship.
No sense.
Okay, I guess,
because she had to cooperate with them for that fake Stephanie to know everything that they talked about and all Eugene's preferences. And like, you didn't know it wasn't me. It's like, this is a ham radio connection. Like, it's entirely possible for you to sound different in real life than over a goddamn ham radio connection.
Yeah.
And I thought it was weird that somehow Eugene was the fuck up in all this, because in my mind, he was manipulated from the jump. And I don't blame Max, because she's living in an authoritarian nightmare world and they probably didn't give her a chance to do this. And it's like, well, you guys do this or you and your brother are out. But damn, Eugene is certainly the most victim in all of this, it seems like.
Oh yeah, easily.
But
this is also so Eugene, right? To like be just so pathetic and so like unself-assured. That he would feel like this is all his fault by the end of this conversation. So I get it. I didn't hate it, but there is definitely a twist of logic there. We find out also that like Milton is not totally on board with her son, because there's a quick scene where like Max goes in and talks to her and she's like, yeah, take away Sebastian's credit card.
Yeah. He's an asshole.
Yeah,
she's not happy with. Now that doesn't mean that she's going to, you know, back somebody else
Put
over a
any
dispute, but she's
boundaries in
aware
place?
that,
No.
that she's aware that he's kind of a shitbird.
Yeah, maybe that's why he was on his picnic date instead of some fancy Commonwealth restaurant. Because I can't imagine that guy's a picnic kind of guy.
I don't know. Maybe he's trying to impress a girl.
Fancy restaurants do that too,
That's true.
especially if you got a big old line of credit.
But it seems like getting outside the walls is almost like a status thing because nobody else is allowed to do
True,
it. You know.
true.
But if you can arrange a Mercer escort to a picnic date, then that's like the hottest nightclub in the Commonwealth is outside the walls.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, we go to the caravan to Alexandria, where Pamela and Lance talk about how unnecessary of a burden Alexandria is. And then they arrive and they take the tour, guided by Aaron. And Daryl, to some degree.
I had a question when I first watched this episode of like, what? Because they make this, they talk about this as in a different state. Someone mentioned that there was evidence that the Commonwealth is based in Ohio. Last episode, I was kind of dismissive. It seems like that they're in a different state. It's probably Ohio. We got some feedback about that. There's this, pretty smart talk about like you don't want to grow your empire outside your ability to protect it because that's how you lose an empire. But I do wonder, like, what is in this for the Commonwealth? And I think the episode does a pretty good job of suggesting what those answers are. It's certainly what's in it for post-apocalyptic Better Call Saul, Hornsby. He's trying to carve out his own little fiefdom. And that's what he wants. But they also, like, you can see how this is going to rub Maggie the wrong way because Milton is riding in her little armored limousine that looks like, one of the carriages that like the Queen of Thorns and Game of Thrones would ride in. It's all like got like a comfortable couch and it's very cozy and she's ultra protected. There's no way zombies can get to her. It's like very much haves versus have nots. But yeah, I am wondering why the Commonwealth is pushing so hard, or like I understand why Hornsby is, but why isn't Milton and Pamela like, hey man, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to carve out your own little thing here. You got your drug farm. That's enough. This is like 2 states away. Get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's in it for the Commonwealth either, other than just more people with backgrounds and skills that they could use. Because, Mercer's asking like what Daryl did before this, and Daryl's like, doesn't matter to us here. Like, that's the thing. Commonwealth operates differently. And I think it was pretty effective in showing that the Commonwealth, is looking for people who have skills from the old world that they can employ in their new world. Alexandria is just a community trying to get by, and the skills you had might matter. Like, if you want to bring them to the front, but also it doesn't matter if you had no skills or you were a prisoner or a violent person or whatever, you can be a part of our community as long as you're working together with everybody else. And I definitely felt the difference between the communities' philosophies.
And I guess if you're trying to build an empire in North America, having self-sufficient outposts that like are not landlocked, like you are if you're living in the middle of Ohio. Yeah, like being able to build like a highway corridor to where you can get to the ocean and get trade, and you can start building bigger. I guess I can understand the appeal. Yeah. Yeah,
that makes a certain amount of sense, and it might actually be why they want all 3 as well, because that would help. Daryl still has his angel wings. I like that. He wasn't dressed up in the trooper uniform here, but it turns out that's kind of just for show. That's
PR,
him
baby.
Playing his role. Do you think he'll be back before? Because we've seen him come back, right? And he comes back in full trooper armor. Do you think he'll be back before then, or is this kind of the last time he comes back as?
Nah, they have to. There has to be a couple more attempts to bring, because it doesn't seem like Hornsby's given up. I think there's going to be a lot more pressure to bring people into the fold, and Daryl's the face for that, and Aaron's on his side because I like that. Like Aaron's trying to like polish this turd as gleaming as it can be. Like, yo, move that plant to hide the broken windows. Make sure that this gaping hole, like it's like a kid that forgot to clean up his room and he hears his parents' car in the driveway and you're just sweeping stuff under the bed, throwing stuff in the closet. Just like, hey, we're back. We're back in business, baby, you know?
Right. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Next up is Daryl and Pamela talking about how they both knew Deanna. And we get a Reg sighting, a cold rolled Reg.
Yeah, boy, Reg, if you could only see the state of your cold rolled steel walls, man, there'd be big fat tears.
Boy.
That massacred my boy.
Right.
I was like, I don't know how you managed to knock down steel walls with fire, but okay.
You didn't reinforce them from the inside, did you?
I did like seeing the ancient history going all the way back to season 5 and 6.
And we find out that Deanna and Pamela knew each other,
which made perfect sense because Deanna was a politician. Her dad is a politician. They're running around the Washington corridors of power. It didn't seem like Pamela gave a shit about politics until the apocalypse, but she was involved in like the philanthropy wing maybe of her dad's stuff. So that made a lot of sense that they knew each other.
Yeah. And she's asking, about Alexandria and the walls, and it fell more than once. Dude, lady, you have no idea.
If you only knew.
Right? It's crazy. All right, Zeke is surprised to find out during a routine checkup that he's actually at the top of the surgery list now. And Jerry's ecstatic, but Zeke is just confused and then a little dismayed by hearing that.
Yeah, Jerry, I love Jerry. He's just like over the moon and happy, and it's adorable. And he's I do like the lucky ones, because I think that's one piece that a lot of people miss about our current society, is that there is some people that think that, like, if you work hard and you do the right things, then you will be all right. And what I've come to appreciate anyway is how much doodah dumb fuck luck is involved in being successful. Like, you take 100 people all with the exact same start in life, and then you give a few of them crippling emotional and physical disabilities. You give a couple of them shitty parents. You put some of them in places where the school districts are underfunded, where there isn't, enough access to water, doesn't have lead in it. And then suddenly you see those people's success drop, and they didn't do a damn thing to deserve it. And I like that this episode's all about meditating on, a guy like Zeke, who used to be on the Pamela level and now is just a dude and at the mercy of this kind of like lottery system. And he's self-aware enough to know that, like, well, I didn't deserve this. I mean, nobody deserves anything. And like his distress of, like, I have been in the hospital. I know there's people just as bad as me. And what did they do? What did I do to get this and that they didn't do? And his answer, nothing. Carol did all your dirty work. But yeah, I like I said, this is the kind of stuff that's a little bit more subtle, that I kind of wish they had led in with. Like, I think a better version of the show would have showed us, like, all the good things and everyone's kind of on board the Commonwealth, and then you start to see the cracks. Whereas they kind of hit us up front with the cracks and the paranoia and the unfairness right away. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes back to, I think, the end of season 10, maybe. Yeah, and I like his, I do like his philosophy on things. He's kind of, not only, like, has he not done, anything that would warrant him going up on the list, but, like, he seems like he's been in both places, and that would change a lot of people, I think. They might be sort of angry that they don't have the same station they used to have. He's not King Ezekiel anymore, and he can't get up on that list. And that, I think a worse person would kind of take that lesson to heart. Like, yeah, shit, I am better than these other people, right? I've done things. Get me up on that list. He seems to have the opposite reaction. It just shows that he has a lot of compassion. And I think you see that throughout the run of his character too.
Yeah. Even Carol was that way. Like, you're not, you kind of, you're not a lesser man. You deserve to have this access, which, fair enough. Everyone deserves to have, the best medical treatment they can get. But like I said,
But
and we know
more
that
than
he
anyone else.
also came from a pretty humble blue collar background. He's a zoo, just helping around. What was he even a zookeeper, or was he just kind of like working maintenance at the zoo? Either way, it's
Can't
not
remember.
exactly a C-suite executive position where you're lording power over people.
Right.
And that was like literally a role that he played because he saw a need for it. And, it's also been interesting I think they've done a good job with Gary Payton where he's like slowly kind of relaxed that King Ezekiel stuff. Like I can't remember the last time he did a yay, verily, like he's just a dude now. And there's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of guilt involved in getting this preferential treatment.
Yep. It does raise the question, though, what else did Carol do? Because I thought when she got the wine, Lance said, well, that's a start. And then we just kind of skipped to this, where he's at the top of the list. Is there something else I missed that she did?
No, I wonder if there's going to be, that's the other shoe. Like, what did she have to do for this? Or is she on? Because he also, like, when he angrily confronts him later, she's like, damn it, I just got out of debt. So I didn't have to owe anybody. It might be more that Carol's just on the hook.
Okay.
Or maybe she did some crazy shit well, she helped him quell the drug problem. Was that the other?
Right.
I don't know
she made that
yeah.
arrangement, or she found out that info that helped him. It could be.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that she's his little secret agent.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Then we get to the worst scene in the entire episode. Pamela Milton sitting at the beach of Oceanside, dips her feet into the water. Ugh. Vomit.
Kills all the fish.
Kills all the fish with just the sight of it. I feel like Quentin Tarantino
it's like
is now at home with his 3D printer going, I have all the information I need now. I've seen the bottoms. I've seen the tops.
No.
I'm ready to go, Pam.
No, it's like the Prince of Egypt and Moses puts his staff into the fucking Nile and it just turns it all to blood. And yeah, she puts her perfectly manicured toes and it's just a roiling plague sea now.
Come on, above and below. I don't need to see 3 different angles of these feet. Come on. Anyway, the leader of Oceanside is not willing to partner with Commonwealth until they get Hilltop or Maggie on board specifically. Unfortunately, she's already refused, so it sets up a dilemma.
Also, the leader of Oceanside is literally who? This is just some like. Did they forget the Boston Rob or not Boston Rob? I'm sorry, the professor. The professor lives here. He's got a whole girlfriend. There was like that young leader that they used to have that stepped. I mean, it's wild that this was just like some person, just some girl that they pushed into service. And also, I do not see how these communities were literally starving when you have an Oceanside compound that has boats and shit. Yeah. Like you're not just offshore fishing. You can go. You're not like onshore fishing. You can go offshore. Did they run out of fish? What happened?
No, I mean Oceanside has clearly just been forgotten by the writers, and it's not like. It's not, they didn't just forget and then write that plot and go, oops. They also, when they came back, were just like, and we're not going to waste time with Luke. And we know maybe they know he's here. I hope they know he's here, but like, I don't know. They just don't care to service the Oceanside stuff at all. Like they've essentially punted it, indefinitely too, because now the real
we thought they were wiped out,
right?
We thought there was but like they don't look like they're in distress at all. They completely avoided any kind of fallout from the Whisperer War. And they've just been like, hey, we got a mutual protection pact. There's nothing about mutual feeding pack. We want something for our fish. You got no blacksmith anymore. You can't trade metals. Like, nah, fuck yeah. So it's weird. It's weird. I don't know, but now that Pamela's dipped her stinky toes in the water, they're going to be hard up.
Yeah,
that's a 50-mile kill zone now. There's nothing. It's like the dead fucking sea.
All right. Let's move on. Get out of that horrible scene. Lance is pissed at Aaron for not giving him warning about Oceanside. And he says that if they can't get every community on board, none of them will be partnered with the Commonwealth. And there's a walker attack on the road, which just so happens to involve Maggie and her goons. And then Pamela introduces herself. Why is Maggie
has
out
goons
here?
now.
Yeah, she's got goons.
She's bringing a wagon to beg for fish.
The Grim Reaper, I don't know what his fucking name is anymore. He's had 6 names.
Casey Jones, are you talking about?
Casey Jones, yeah, he's out there.
Slightly competent bow girl.
Are they out there foraging? Is that what's happening? Why are they on this
I just
road?
assume they're bringing an empty wagon hoping to get fish from Oceanside. And Oceanside's like, we told you, you better come with some shitty copies of Metalworks or nothing. Like, we're fresh out of Blacksmith. We even lost our apprentice. What are you going to do? I like how they definitely made these people are filthy. They're dirty. Yeah. Their clothes are ripped. They're covered in dirt, except for Lauren Cohen, who still somehow is able to look, no makeup apocalypse pretty.
Sure.
But everybody's just like run down and haggard. They've been hard put upon it. Yeah.
Makes sense when you see the state of Hilltop here in a bit.
I also like how Aaron's not like inclined to take any shit from, Hornsby. Until Hornsby's like, you don't understand. If we don't this is a package deal. Like, we got to get everything or we're going to pull out of Alexandria and let you guys collapse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, Hilltop has like some real problems there. And Alexandria, has already seen the benefits of working with the Commonwealth. So I feel like they understand the stakes here. Mm-hmm. They're pretty high. But I don't know. I mean, like, they do a pretty good job coming up of telling us like what the stakes really are, because they've rebuilt part of Alexandria, and I feel like they're back on their feet basically now, and they can do without the rest of the help from the Commonwealth. But they'll introduce something here in a bit that I think is actually, they introduce it in the absolute shittiest way possible. It's a terrible scene, but it introduces an interesting concept. So we'll get there. Anyway, Daryl and Aaron tell Maggie that Commonwealth isn't so bad, and they fixed up Alexandria. And then Lance invites them hunting. Maggie pairs off with Pamela, who has an honest conversation about why she's considering Hilltop as a partner. And it's because she wants to provide stability for the future of humanity and her kids specifically. Which probably hits home with little Herschel out there.
Yeah. I actually like both these scenes. I thought like Aaron and Daryl playing good cop, better cop against Maggie trying to wear her down, and with honest, like, it wasn't bullshit. It's like, hey, Alexandria or the Commonwealth is doing this for us. Commonwealth's doing that for us. Like, how can you trust them? Well, they've kept their word for this, and like, what is there to gain? Mm-hmm. But that's what bothers Maggie, because she's like, what is there to gain? Mm-hmm. Because who does this? But on the other hand, I was waiting for them to say something like, the last time I went off on some damn fool idealistic crusade from some older woman, it led to pillaging and death. Mm-hmm. And because it's like Georgie and Deanna both didn't want anything. They just wanted to have more people in their community, and they wanted to spread civilization further. It's kind of weird that Maggie's kind of like super suspicious of Pamela, since this is literally the third woman like this that they've met.
Yeah.
I really expected them to make a little bit more like, like we get more information about what went down with Georgie to kind of like show that Maggie is, but like she's going down being like, hey, I'm trying to set up the same thing that Deanna and Georgie were trying to set up. So they kind of lost me with that.
Yeah, maybe it's just they feel like, okay, we've dealt with all the threats in the vicinity.
Yeah.
Now we can actually get down to the business of creating our own thing here and having it be sustainable. But
I think that there's a lot like her trying to build common cause with Maggie. Like, we're both leaders. We both know what it's like to worry about people. We both, and there's like, like it's one society is much stronger than 15 million city states fighting against each other. Mm-hmm. But the one thing she said that made the hair stand up a little bit on the back of my neck was there's a natural order of things that needs to be returned.
Yeah.
I don't think she's thinking living over the dead. I think she means like a certain type of person should be running and a certain other type of person should be. And like there's this class stuff that they're bringing into that I think Maggie's picking up on that's probably going to be the friction here.
Totally, and it's the stuff I find more compelling. Like, you know, do you want to reestablish the society you had before, or do you want to go with something that's a little more agrarian, that's a little more equal, has more equality built in? Because, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of societies they've been setting up in Alexandria. You know, everybody pitches in, everybody's treated the same. They flirted with this idea back when they started writing their constitution, right? Or their fucking Bill of Rights.
Did they forget about this? Because now they're talking about a mutual protection pact. I'm like, no, fucking bullshit. You had a goddamn interstate compact. Like, it was more than just a non-aggression pact or whatever.
Right. Which inherently, I feel like, pushed them more toward the Commonwealth style of governance, right? Where you have a council who is taken more seriously in their opinions, and they actually do make the decisions for everybody. So,
yeah.
And you know, Maggie was kind of last on board for that whole thing too, right?
True.
You know, Michonne wrote up that thing and then passed it to them, and they were like, I don't know.
Right.
So you can see she already had these tendencies of like, I don't want to be under the thumb of a ruler.
Yeah, Hilltop was always a little bit more isolationist because they're probably the most self-sufficient of the communities.
They were, they had a lot of food stuff down that the others didn't.
Right. Right.
But yeah, so they did flirt with that before, and maybe Maggie has like taken some of that stuff to heart. Like that just didn't work out for them.
Yeah, because there's a couple times where Hornsby's going to say, "This is what we've got in Commonwealth is what you wanted to build, right?" And she's like, yeah, and she's not fully on board. So you might be right that she's like, you know what? I kind of like the city state. I kind of like having my 200 people that I know their first and last names, and I know whether they're reliable or not. I know whether their reputation means something. You can't like slack. Everyone's got to pull their weight. Like there is something to that, but then there's also, I mean, that's been like the last 10,000 years of human history is trading that ultimate freedom of hunting gathering for the fact that your kids are going to survive a drought and a famine because you've got a whole bunch of people that have pooled their resources together. So
yeah,
it's that freedom, safety, continuum that you're always flirting with.
For sure. And that was the stuff I found more compelling about this episode. All right, before we move into the next scene, let's take a quick break. All right, next scene. Carol visits Zeke to find out how his checkup went, and he realizes that Carol did something to bump him up in the line. And he's pissed because he's taken someone else's spot, and he feels bad about it.
And it's another good scene because, like, you can see Zeke is pondering and it's bothering him, and he's still happy. But then he realizes Carol's pulled some strings, and you know she makes a pretty good two-prong argument of number one, why should you die because a system's broken? If you can, you know, like it's nothing inherently noble to die in a broken system if you can, you know, pull a string and get. And the other is like, don't you think Milton would do the exact same thing to save her own shitty son or herself? You know, like, is she going to wait at the bottom of the list, languish? Hell no. So, but then he's got the like, well, why am I better than anybody else in the hospital dying on life support?
Why should someone else die so that I can live?
Yeah.
No, good arguments on both sides, and that's some of the
need
more
a better
compelling
system
stuff.
I would argue, but
need more doctors. Maybe we need a Saeed or somebody. Is that his name? I can't even freaking remember.
Does that paint Yumiko's brother in a different light? That there is a shortage of doctors, people dying on the vine, and he's been baking cupcakes for a decade.
Yeah, totally. I think so.
Because you know, I just don't like the pressure. The grind is saving. I just Yeah,
didn't enjoy the work.
Yeah, I don't mind being a doctor, but the whole dinner party circuit, it's such a drag. Like, dude, have you ever been to the hospital, Yumiko's brother? Have you heard the dying screams of people on live? No. So it does make him seem like a little bit more of an asshole than we originally thought.
Totally. So here's another scene with Maggie and Pamela arguing about the different ways of governing, and then taking turns killing walkers, which I guess builds some respect between the two, or at least Maggie seems to respect her skills.
Does she? Because I was just trying to decide what they're trying to tell me here. Because number one, Maggie uses the knife, which is silent.
Yep.
Georgie used the shotgun, which is super loud. Probably going to bring even more. Sorry, not Georgie. Pamela uses the shotgun, which is probably going to draw, you know, more walkers. Blah blah blah. One thing it's interesting to see Pamela try to defend why she has so much, because Maggie and like, you know, like all the leaders we've seen so far, it's not like Rick and Michonne had a bigger house and nicer clothes. Maggie lived in the governor's mansion, but that's like where the leadership lived. But it's not like she lived better. She didn't have better food. She didn't have better clothes. It is hard in this apocalypse. Like, how does Pamela, like, everything she says just rings hollow. Like,
oh, it's bullshit.
Yeah, like, well, I've got a lot more responsibility, but this is every, you know, like, oh, well, you got to have it's not for me, it's the respect of the office. That's why I have to live in a mansion. That's why I need a motorcade. That's why I need to have
to give some people something to aspire to. Get out of here. Like, they can aspire to it being safer and being healthier and happier and having more as a community. They don't need to aspire to being Pamela Milton.
But that's like literally like an aristocratic thought.
Yeah,
that
it's a joke.
I have to lead by example, and like I have to be better so people will be good, you know. Right. And yeah, it's horseshit, and I wish that I don't know. I wish they had something better for her to say than essentially, well, I'm just, you know, I deserve it because blah blah blah.
Sure.
Or a better way to. Yeah, like a better speech that they wrote for her, so it seems like because anyone watching those with brains, like, well, Maggie's right. That's just a better way to go. Like, you can have the Commonwealth without the extreme and bad. Like, Pamela Milton doesn't need to go around. Like, maybe you got to have continuity of government, so she has to be more protected. But like, does she need the silk pillows and the fancy tints and? That's the thing. Like, yes, she's more important because she is their leader, and so she needs to be protected, and we understand that. But like, does she need to be pampered? Does she need to have like the fucking pith helmet? That's what kills me.
Right.
Like this.
That doesn't say fucking. It says much in one hat. It's like, oh, you want to look like a colonizer? Okay, I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. This is Raj World. This is all British India, East Indian Tea Company bullshit. And like, yeah, I don't know. Like, when I saw her in that pith helmet, I'm like, good God, give her a fucking mustache so she can twirl, and let's be done with it.
Yeah. No, everything she says in this scene rings hollow to me, and disingenuous too. It's like, I feel like, you know, these arguments are bullshit, but you're saying them anyway because that's your response to this criticism. Anyway, let's go over to Eugene, who's sulking by the lake, and then Rosita and Coco come to visit him, and Rosita is satisfied being a cop and being safe for now, at least. She's still holding out hope for going back to Alexandria, though, and Eugene tells Rosita about Stephanie breaking up with him.
Which is not still the truth.
It's that's what I was thinking. Like, it's closer to the truth. She wasn't who I thought she was.
Yeah.
That kind of nutshells everything, but boy, the journey to get there. Yeah. You got a story, man. Tell it.
I also like that Eugene is sitting there and like, people are painting the sad man. There's this painting class, and
he'll be immortalized. His sadness, his betrayal.
This is Eugene's blue period that's his been immortalized in acrylic paint with the Bob Ross method. It's pretty funny.
And also, like, Pamela Milton's office, right? Or Lance's office, maybe. Yeah.
And you can also see there's this like a little bit of a trap forming where Rosita and I think Eugene and probably everybody thinks, you know what? This is fine for now, and if we don't like it, we can always go back to Alexandria when it gets fixed up. I don't know that there's going to be that much freedom of movement. It's not like the Commonwealth is going to be like, oh yeah, you can go back to Alexandria and do whatever you want. If Alexandria is brought,
but
I know, but Alexandria is going to be Commonwealth 2.0. It's not. If you go back there, it's going to be with a bunch of white armored goons that are not going to be letting you go outside the walls because that's harder. I think there's this. They think that like maybe this isn't our cup of tea, but we can always go back and have our old cup of tea. I think that old cup of tea is gone and they don't realize it yet, and that's what's going to be interesting. And I think that's where maybe you get Daryl and Maggie having friction because there is a little bit of an okey doke that's being played here.
And I like some of the stuff they're doing with the different reactions different people are having to this, right? You've got the seasoned vets who some of them are ready to be done with it. You know, they're tired of fighting this fight. And if they can relax and, you know, have a somewhat safer and more normal life in Commonwealth, they're willing to go for that. Maggie, who's still very resistant to it, obviously. And then the kids are probably the most interesting thing, right? Because like there's a scene where Aaron and Lance, I think, are walking and talking, and Lance says something about the kids. You know, it must be so weird or so hard to grow up in this world. And it's Daryl. He's like, yeah, those are a different type of kids. They grew up on the road, you know?
That's a road kid.
Yeah.
Road kid's different.
It's a road kid. He's different. But then you go and you see Judith getting the record, right? And RJ and them enjoying like the relative safety and being with other kids and things like that. I think they're setting up a really interesting, like you said, trap where it might be a soft trap. It might not even be like, hey, you guys can't go out and just recolonize Alexandria and be on your own. But a lot of the people who some of the people who want to do that might be trapped by the people they love. Like, does Aaron go back to Alexandria if Gracie really loves it in the Commonwealth? Right?
They got Barbies here, you know?
Right. Will you know, little Herschel get a taste of it, and then Maggie won't, you know, be so sure about it. I think that is some of the more nuanced work they're doing here, and it's paying off.
Well, speaking of nuanced work, there's something there they're doing to Eugene that I'm not even sure people are picking up, because I thought, because like we talked about, like, why does Eugene feel so guilty? Mm-hmm. And I think it's because this scene is the linchpin, that he's seeing the lies that were told to him to lure him into this situation as similar to the lies that he told in the beginning to keep himself safe.
Yes.
And he's like, it's really settling in that, like, oh, what a shitty position that I got, like Abraham and Rosita and all these other people to protect me and keep me safe. And it was all under false pretenses and because I was scared and I didn't know. So, like, I think he is feeling like a real shit. Like, yeah, he fell for that, but also how can he get mad at Max or any of these people for doing things to keep themselves safe that he did? And this as a societal level. His is a purely personally selfish safety thing. So I think that's why he is all apologetic at the end.
Makes a lot of sense.
It doesn't make sense to why Max is like, you owe me this fucking apology, but it does. I think this scene is key to understanding Eugene's point of view.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. That's a good observation. All right, let's move over to Commonwealth helping rebuild Hilltop. Daryl and Lydia chat for a bit, and she feels like it's pointless to fix Hilltop. Lance hands out some supplies, including food. Daryl and Mercer talk about their communities, and Daryl seems to be coming around on the idea of being there in the Commonwealth. Mercer says, well, don't get too used to it. It's not perfect. They're both just playing our roles. It points out, that they didn't have him dressed in the trooper armor, all that stuff.
I thought this was a weird scene because it seemed designed to get the put the trap more, to get the leash more on Daryl's neck. But then, like, the main guy, Mercer, maybe that's because they're setting up Mercer to play both sides. But he's like,
well, he's been shaken a little bit by his sister and
that's
Tyler.
True, but like halfway this thing, he's like, Al, you're coming around on the Commonwealth, doing that, but don't relax because Commonwealth will fuck you. Like what? Like I don't. Whose side are you on? But I guess he is kind of
opposite trajectories, right, between Daryl and Mercer. Yeah, I think that's kind of interesting.
What if Daryl's going to be the new Mercer, the right hand man?
He better get some fancier armor. Because the armor I saw him in is not setting him apart.
He needs blue armor to match his angel wings.
Yeah. Maybe you just paint the angel wings on the back of the armor.
There you go.
Or wear the vest over it. That'd be the best look.
It's also fun seeing little Herschel playing around with Mercer's helmet. It shows that Mercer's not a complete asshole, which we kind of are understanding anyway. Yeah,
totally. I will say I don't like this conversation between Daryl and Lydia. It's okay, but there's a really bad line in here that is very writerly. You can see the writers going at it. because they're talking about something, and then there is a line from Lydia where she says, "How do you know when?" And it's outside of any context because it's also a topic switch, a topic change in the scene. And of course, the next line has to be, when what? And no human talks like this, right? When I am talking to you, I realize that I'm about to change topics and I give you context for the question that I'm about to ask you. If I were to say to you, let me ask you something, what about that? How do you respond to that? It's that what, right? Like, this feels like just a scene that is constructed to like have a back and forth as opposed to like a natural conversation.
But wasn't it in context of like the defend the Walking Dead, which is dangerous terms? It wasn't in context of like things can usually be fixed, but sometimes they can't. How do you know which situation is which and when to give up on the fixing?
Maybe I think
is what I understood
the first half of this conversation because I don't remember what the context was. But in my mind, it was a context switch.
Because she's like, it's been a lot of struggle and it's been this and things have been busted. And Daryl's like, yeah, well, you'll get it fixed. And she's like, and most things will be fixed. And I think the question is kind of like, well, what things can't and how do you know? But
okay, I could be wrong.
I don't know.
That.
Maybe after 11 seasons, I'm just a Walking Dead whisperer here.
Who knows?
So give me my mask. I'm a whisperer.
Zeke goes in for surgery. That's it. It's the whole scene. Fuck pineapple.
Fuck you and your shitty pizza opinion, Zeke. Give it more pineapple on the pizza for me.
I'll listen to an hour-long speech on Zeke's pineapple on pizza opinions because I agree wholeheartedly.
Savory and sweet. How can anyone go with that combination?
It's an inherently savory food. I don't want sweet on my savory pizza. No, thank you.
Well, wait till you see the people salting watermelon.
Ugh, those people. Actually, I do like that.
Then the doctor comes in and is like, fuck your pizza, fuck your pineapple. You got nothing but Jell-O, because we're taking out the tumor through your butthole or something. Why would this keep him from eating pizza? Like, why wouldn't he be able, as soon as he recovers from the anesthetic? Why can't he just start eating pizza?
His neck. They're gonna go at his neck. I don't know.
It's not in his throat. It's like,
it might be.
Maybe it's like getting like a giant tonsil out. I don't know.
Yeah. I honestly don't know, but I assume the neck region surgery means you probably don't want to eat, a big old steak right after it.
He's been baking muffins too long. He doesn't know how everything's connected.
Sure. He's forgotten anything you knew about human anatomy.
Yeah, he just cuts people open and expects to see frosting. He just doesn't even know.
All right. Next up, Lance chats with Maggie about Lucky Charms. Not those Lucky Charms, like not the cereal. Lance paints a picture of the life that Maggie and her son could have at the Commonwealth, but then they're interrupted by the obligatory Walker attack. Oh my God. The Walker attack. Dude. First of all, it's obligatory, right? It comes out of nowhere. It does nothing to advance the plot. Although they actually do use it to advance a little bit of the storytelling.
Do they? Because I think you've fallen down a trap. What do you think happened in this scene?
So I think that Maggie sees how effectively they dealt. Well, okay, I can't talk about this scene without talking about how stupid it is too. Because do I need to set it up for people who didn't see it? There's a scene where they're kind of in the woods. And they're sitting talking, and then walkers come up and get entangled in some string alarm trap thing that they've got going with the cans.
The hilltop alarm, yeah.
And you've got all of the troopers on one side of this alarm, and you've got Maggie, and I think maybe Daryl and Mercer and Lance, perhaps, all standing on the other side of the alarm, and Mercer tells his guys, shouts at them, fire, you fucks. And they shoot straight at Mercer and Maggie and everybody. They are putting them immediately in this crossfire. And I'm like, that is the most insanely dangerous thing I've seen anybody do on the show since lowering Glenn into a well in a bucket with a walker in it.
It really is. It's like ordering an artillery strike on yourself when they are completely handling it. This is like... handled. a medium, like 20 zombies, and they got like 8 people, and there's like 20 troopers that all have bayonets affixed, and it's so sudden too, because it feels like this climax is like, yo, everybody, if he just screams fire, and then you hear these gunshots go out, and you see the firing line, and the heroes are in the middle, and the zombies are. I'm like, yeah, this is insane.
And it would be one thing if like there were a bunch of Tylers on the other side of that in trooper armor shooting because they're idiots, or a bunch of Sebastians not knowing what the hell they're doing. But Mercer orders it is the thing. Fire straight at me, you idiots. And so they do that, which is incredibly stupid. But then I think Maggie sees this and goes, if I don't play along with their plan here, this is what I'm up against. So I see it as something stupid they did. Maggie sees it as something like incredibly effective, dealing with these walkers, and incredibly scary. That's what competent Bow Girl says too. Like, imagine if we could just keep working on a hilltop, and we had people that could deal with the alarms, because it's like, you know, like it's pretty annoying. Like you start working, and then you got to stop and do defense, and you start. But Maggie's seeing it and think, what if we had to deal with them?
I think you're right. There is that, like, this could easily be, and we don't even have guns anymore.
Right.
We got like, we're back to fucking King Arthur days, and we're fresh out of blacksmiths to make,
mildly competent Bow Girl is the best weapon we have. Yeah,
exactly. We're at the fucking Stone Age now. So, and also the Hornsby conversation I thought was good, because he's making a point like, this is what you guys were trying to build, right? And wouldn't it be nice if little Herschel had a doctor he could go to, perhaps a university, like, you know, return of culture? Like, it's seductive, yeah. And probably, honestly, the long-term thing that should be done. Like, this hunter-gatherer agrarian stuff is only going to take you so far.
Yeah, but then Lance tips his hand a little too far, and you see what cards he's actually got. And he's talking to Maggie about, like, think about 50,000 community members working toward your vision of the future.
But the thing is like that, what I was thinking when I saw that scene is like, how likely is that you'd have 50,000 Commonwealth people united behind your vision? It's more likely that your 50 Hilltop people would become part of that 50,000 that's being united to someone else's vision.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're not going to call the shots. You're not going to wag the dog.
I wouldn't think so. All right, Maggie's friends think it would be a relief to continue getting help from the Commonwealth. Then Daryl's marched off with the rest of the troopers. And Maggie tells Pamela the Hilltop is not interested in their offer because it just costs too much.
Yeah, and they did another thing that I didn't understand, where Mercer tells his men to fall in line and made it clear that that's you too, Daryl. Mm-hmm. And like Maggie looks at that like she's not too sure. But like, why? Daryl's an ass kicker. Why wouldn't he serve in the armed forces of this Commonwealth? Like, I didn't understand. At first, I didn't understand why, if the whole point was to have Daryl in his civilian clothes, so it's like, hey, look at the friendly Commonwealth. Why do you jerk his chain right at the end of the demonstration when the big person has to give them the blessing? I didn't understand. Silly on the Commonwealth's part, because they had made some kind of point here, but then Daryl falling in line, especially at the end of the line, being the last one here. I think is visually symbolic. Feels less like co-equals and more like lackey brought the heel. Absolutely. And just makes what Lance said about her vision being, 50,000 people working on it ridiculous, right? Especially when Mercer says, don't forget they're always watching. Why did you yank Daryl's chain, man? Yeah. Because I see Maggie watching and she don't like it. Mm-hmm. All right, Eugene brings Max some ice cream and an apology. Max wonders how the fuck Eugene couldn't tell Stephanie wasn't her. Eugene says, I'm just a big stupid sucker. I was bruised and confused and rude, yeah. And then he explains what his novel is about. Boy. I like that his name, the name is Steph Portman. Because he's Eugene Porter and she's Stephanie, and so he was like blending, like, Steph Portman, and somehow has a sepulcher, and it involves Carpathian nuclear mountains. Disaster being averted. Which, like, oh god, that's the season 9 plot line that was promised. You were supposed to build a Manhattan device, Eugene. Right. This is the writing room retroactively fucking with me. I feel like it's gotta be. It's got to be. They listen to our show. Why are they listening to our show if that's the case? I don't know. Because they're they're gluttons for punishment.
I guess so.
But they're also
it's an evil twin. Detective.
Yeah. I thought this made a lot of sense in light of the scene of him by the pond feeling sorry for himself, feeling about the mistakes he made, you know, the fact that like he's never sure if the connection's real, if the person's being polite, and he expects that when he shows up they're going to be like, oh god, this whole leather ponytail thing and the jean shorts, it's a lot, man. And then he's kind of on the spectrum too, so he's got all that working. So I felt like it felt like a guy. I think what didn't make sense is Max holding the grudge. Made sense for Eugene to over apologize, but like the Max, and I don't know, maybe I guess I can see that being hard. But also like Max knew about the decoy Stephanie. That's what I keep coming back to. So I feel like she's got some stuff to apologize for too. Like I'm sorry that I let the, you know, my concern for my community treat you in a cruel manner, or that I was too afraid to say the truth, or blah blah. But like it's more like, well, I'm glad you apologized, and now we can move forward. Yeah, something off.
With you. All right, Daryl says goodbye to Maggie, and then several of her people leave for the Commonwealth because they're tired of the hard life, including competent Bowgirl. I feel like that's the last person holding Hilltop together. I mean, we've lost everybody else. Lydia's there. That's it.
Yeah. It's Lydia and Maggie and Little Herschel, who's had 3 lines.
Like Alden's
also
dead.
Lydia's underserved. Like, I don't think they know what to do with Lydia anymore. They shoehorned her in to talk to, but like they've completely forgotten about her ever since they launched a mission to quell the Reapers.
Yeah.
And for the first time, Maggie looks really unsure of what she should be doing and of her decision.
Yeah.
She's dismayed that she's losing competent Bowgirl and a bunch of other Hilltopians.
Yeah. I like that they didn't just make this straightforward, you know, Maggie is like totally defiant and she never has any second thoughts. I think it's good that a lot of people are not betraying her. Excuse me. Not betraying her, but like just making it clear that, you know, they respect her, but this is their life to live too. So
yeah, and it's hard.
Yeah.
What you're doing is hard and not 100% worth it, seemingly. Yeah, I liked it too. And
it brings up the idea that like these people are free to do that at Hilltop. They can just walk away. Could they do that from the Commonwealth later? That's a question that I'm not sure they're asking themselves in that moment, but they probably should be.
I think you're right.
So we'll see how that plays out. Lance finally tells Pamela that he can still get the other communities to sign on. And Pamela thinks this whole 3 communities thing was his way of making a play to become a leader himself. Lance denies that was his motive. And then Pamela says he can try to make it work as long as it doesn't affect his duties in the Commonwealth. So then he walks out into the woods and starts clearing. And Aaron comes up behind him and asks if they're good. Lance says, "We're going to remake the fucking world, buddy. You and me, we're doing it today."
That camera move where we went from behind Lance to in front of Lance with the zombie, like, I felt like they crossed the line or did something because I was disoriented by that. Did you feel like, I think there's a way to do that shot that doesn't do that, but something the way they did it, I don't know.
I think I was too busy making notes about how he intentionally uses a gunshot to draw a bunch of walkers in here, but earlier when they used a shotgun to kill Walker, they didn't even consider that.
So many gunshots went off this episode, but he's just like, you know, one shot away from summoning a squad of zombies.
Right. So I think I missed that, but no, I didn't pick up on that.
Mm-hmm. Got another clear. It's all fun and games, so he starts making goat cheese.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he's full on psycho, right? Like, his ambition knows no bounds. He's probably going to start.
He's going to be a little governor
working against Pamela. Yeah.
Yep. Because when I first watched this episode and I saw the zombie with the rope and cans tied to their waist, I'm like, oh, that fucker. He's setting up a mini herd to try to make the Alexandrians feel insecure. But that was just the Hilltop's defense system.
Yeah.
So I was wrong about that, but like, yeah, how long does it take before he starts sabotaging the other communities so they can't get their shit together?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll see. That's the end of the episode, though.
All right. We have feedback.
Okay.
If you would like to send feedback into our show, send it into watchingdead@baldmove.com. First up is Robert says, okay, I understand The Walking Dead has been hammering into us that the biggest threat is not the walkers, it's the humans. That being said, my biggest issue with The Walking Dead is they always resort to the silent but deadly walker types sneaking up on our heroes. All the walkers still seem to be able to growl and rasp, but episode after episode we see walkers not make a single sound until they're right up upon an unsuspecting human. Like what we saw with Carol in the wine cellar episode. I know they're trying to make a walker still a threat in the Walking Dead universe, but it seems like a cheap trick they go to over and over when it doesn't make any damn sense. Walkers seem to rasp and growl even when there's no humans present, so why are they silent other than for plot purposes in random instances? It's been bugging me for years.
Yeah,
Dude,
welcome to the last 5 seasons of our podcast.
Preach. I will say that there is a point in 9 and 10 where that we even praised it. Like, you know what? They're doing a good job of staging scenes where zombies just don't stumble off of the screen and get people. Like, you know, they had reasons for them to go into buildings, places that wouldn't be cleared, places with low light, close quarters. They're not doing that anymore. This is back to they're just go to some random corner of Georgia, some unclaimed piece of forest, and they have a person with foam rubber jump off 2 feet off screen and grab somebody. And I don't know why. I don't know. It's
easier.
It's just like, I don't even know why did they force the zombie encounters, because like there is zero excitement to them anymore. They had some exciting zombie encounters with some real stakes, but they're just like, it's like, well, this is The Walking Dead. If people don't see a zombie every 15 minutes, they're going to fucking turn the channel. So
they've already turned the channel. What is this, down to 1 million, sub 1 million viewers at this point? I don't even know.
But they got the hardcore zombie fans, and if they don't get their zombie fix, you know. True. It's like Baywatch. If you don't have Pamela Anderson in a one piece every 10 minutes, the fucking 14-year-olds are going to turn the channel. I don't know, Robert. I felt like they did a better job in the early goings of the Kang era, and they're back to just lazy shit now. Maybe they can recover. We'll see. Matthew, how many more episodes of this dross? It's like watching some daytime TV drama that happens to have the occasional zombie in it. Where on earth is this heading? Is the Eugene detective stuff supposed to be funny? Princess was a reasonably interesting new character, and they've stuffed her through the normalizer machine and taken away any interesting edges. Carol honestly looks bored to still be here at this point, and I cannot believe she signed up for another spinoff of this shit. How bad is it going to be when this is the base level? This is interesting because, like, Melissa McBride is fully checked out.
Seems like it.
Like, she had what could have been a good scene with King Ezekiel, and she put the barest minimum effort. We talked about the rolling around with zombies listlessly. We talked about the rat scene from.
I'm not blaming her. Like, I don't want to say like, oh, she's not doing her job. She's doing exactly the job that that this show warrants. Let's say.
I just can't believe they're giving her and Norman Reedus another 3 to 5 years sentence of this. Like, I don't know. It's probably going to be pretty bad. Although maybe like there's a way that they could take this into like an Adam West Batman direction with one of these spinoffs and make it like deeply ironic, tongue in cheek. And if anyone does it, I think it's Daryl and Carol. Matthew continues, I mock my wife for watching things like Neighbours, which is a long-running drama from Australia that has been shown here in the UK at lunchtime for years and years. It's a soap opera, basically. This is no better. Shame on me. Please tell me this honestly. Is this the last series because I'm only in now because I've been in so long? I've literally been institutionalized by The Walking Dead. I mean,
yeah,
this series will come to an end, but it's not.
Well, when he says series, I believe since he's British, he probably means season, as we would say in America. So yes, this is the final season of The Walking Dead for sure. But
it's kind of not, because at least 2 or 4 of the major characters are going to continue on cast thither and yon. So yeah, I don't. Anyway,
I would just recommend don't start any of the spinoffs, and yes, this can be your final season series.
This could be your stop off. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for all your efforts in this and many of the other podcasts I enjoy. I'm off to have a hard look in the mirror. It's never good. It's never a good idea to mock the wife, man. It always comes back to get you, because I guarantee we do much stupid. On average, we do at least as stupid shit as they do. Moving on to Christina. First of all, as always, thank you for so much for your mini podcast. You've enriched my life in so many ways over the years. Listening to you both makes my workday, drudgery of home maintenance, walk around at Costco so much better. Well, thank you. And most importantly, like you, I'm with The Walking Dead till the end. I'm especially thankful I'm not alone in this last journey. My thoughts from the last few episodes regarding the Commonwealth are this, and would love to hear what you think. I don't read the comic books, me either, so I can be way off on this, but I think it seems that Pamela Milton has no clue what is actually going on in the Commonwealth. I don't think she is paying attention at all to the possible coup being led by Lance Hornsby. Lance brought the Alexander gang to use in his coup, but I think they are seeing through it and will end up on the opposite side of his plans in the end. I felt that way watching last episode. This episode, I'm not so sure.
I think this changed my mind on that.
But I do see that, like, well, why do you want an Eastern Empire if not to, like, with it? And Pamela said, you're always ambitious. That's your big thing. You're ambitious. Would that keep him happy for long?
Right. Yeah, I mean that. The thing that I saw from her is at least she's shrewd enough to detect what's going on here. I don't know if she's powerful or shrewd enough to prevent it from happening.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to be on board with watching that. I kind of want to see the power struggle there.
I also think that, like, I'm starting to see a clearer path to Daryl marching on the gates of Hilltop. Like, if it's just Maggie and some diehards and she's fucking it up for everybody else, and just, like, you know, like Alexandria is going to fall and everyone's going to be kicked out unless Maggie and her 3 loyal holdouts stop squatting in the Hilltop Shack. I can see, like, this is the way it's got to be. We're not going down for your rap. Like, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Nicole B writes in, says Eugene's emotional breakdown scene was like a monologue to get into Gene Cosino's acting class from Barry on HBO. After 11 seasons and 0 acting Emmys, we should throw some Baldies at The Walking Dead. Which character wins for Baldy for most over-the-top emotional reaction? A, Eugene for his breakdown in the stairwell over the most obvious plot twist. B, Rick losing his shit at the prison and neglecting to comfort Carl Jr. while Carl held his newborn sister and one hand in a smoking gun he used to shoot his mom in the face and the other. Or C, the tie win for Lori v. Andrea and the Real Housewives of the Farmhouse catfight. I like a D. A Lauren Cohen for remembering to care about her sister dying, because someone who goes from 0 to 60 in acting, like, I think that's hilarious, because she really pulled out all the stops and had put in all the she pulled out all the stops that she'd put in throughout the whole season. And that 1 30-second scene where she just lost her shit about Doodlebug.
I mean, I have to say, in none of those scenes did I laugh more than when Eugene had his breakdown. I was just cackling the whole time because it was just bad and stupid, and he's dumb, and I love to see him in pain in that moment because he's been so stupid. That might take the cake for me.
It's like watching an Arby's beef and cheddar sandwich cry, you know? Like, what? Come on, you're going to get your onion bung all your Arby's sauce is leaking, dude.
Right. I mean, you already weren't good to start with. No one wants you now. You're all wet.
Yeah, you drop a beef and cheese in the pond. It's just like, you just leave it for, you don't fish it out. No.
The ducks don't even want that shit.
Do you have a Baldy submission for most over-the-top emotional reaction on a show?
No, not an additional one. I think option A there with Eugene is my winner for sure.
I also like Dr. Jenner in season 1. Remember, he had the couple of those lines where he just started shouting everything for no good reason.
Yeah, didn't he get drunk? Was that the thing?
Maybe. I just remember a lot of like William Shatner-esque. You know, do you know anything about brain stems and complex neurological diseases and whatever the fuck he was saying? I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, you can't
Thank
really
you,
go with
Nicole.
Shane's reaction to the barn, right? Because like his "What is this?"
What
is
is
like
this?
classic, but it's so warranted. It's like this is crazy shit you're doing.
That is
here.
a man losing his shit, and it's entirely like it's like catching kids doing a bunch of stupid shit. Yeah, and he
right,
was the
playing with
dad.
lighters and gasoline behind the shed or some shit,
in a hay barn.
which I still have scars from.
Kate from Melbourne. I'm looking forward to hearing you guys discuss this episode. You two brought me back from giving up on the show completely. Oh no. I can't live with the guilt. I'm like Eugene, realizing all the consequences of my action. What an asshole I was. This might have been the longest hour of television I've sat through in a while. And reminder, this is people are talking about the Gumshoe episode with Eugene.
Okay.
These are all in arrears. Yeah. Not only do I have no interest in Eugene as a focus of the episode, his dialogue felt more stilted and ham-fisted than ever before. The scenes with Connie were such a welcome relief from the rest of the episode. There were actually moments that I thought bordered on camp or satire. The reveal of Eugene's murder wall, the wide-eyed, sweaty conversation between him and Princess in front of it, the conversation between Eugene and that coiffed dude from the Commonwealth. I have well and truly given up on learning everyone's names. Hear, Kate. And the reveal of the real Stephanie. Jesus Christ. Separating the final season into 3 is actually making it hard to watch as a casual viewer. I keep thinking, didn't we figure out Decoy Stephanie last season? It's happened with a few other things thus far too, like Ezekiel's illness. Didn't they give us life-threatening diagnosis like 3 seasons ago?
That's the thing. Did. We figured that out very easily. It was obvious that this wasn't the real Stephanie, but Eugene didn't know.
They fucked up some kind of casting thing, mentioning a Decoy Stephanie, which ruined the twist. Not that it was much of a twist, but we knew this because they fucked up the marketing. Just like we just found out that, hey, Negan and Maggie gonna be A-okay.
Right.
They're gonna be all right. So yeah. The Ezekiel thing, I felt, this seems like, and this is just because it's been stretched out over the course of 3 years, but I think in real Showtime, there's only been a couple of weeks elapsed since they found the Commonwealth, but that tumor should have killed him, seems like. I can't but feel the Commonwealth could have been better setting for one of the million spin-off shows they're creating, and not for the main cast. I can't believe the same show that had me on the edge of my seat when Rick was in the RV and Negan's crew had been boxed in with the roadblocks is now trying to make me care about some missing woman, Eugene's sci-fi novel, and his apparent skills at sketching an endless supply of yarn in the zombie apocalypse. Did this episode just catch me in a bad mood, or am I missing something? No, it's... And it might round into a better shape by the end of this season, but I do think The Walking Dead is floundering a bit right now.
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoy your podcast, especially on The Walking Dead, says Josh L. ScreenRant.com recently published an article on February 21st about how Andrew Lincoln was sighted taking photos with Norman Reedus and fans in none other than Georgia. In late 2021, he was still in the UK with his family. As of today, March 8th, the filming of the final episode has officially begun. Of course, I have no doubt that Andrew would want to be present for the filming of the final episodes.
Yeah.
However, it does raise an obvious question. Will Rick Grimes be back on our TV screens before the series is over? If not, how would the series end?
I mean, that seems like a very AMC thing to do. Bring him back for the final episode, like as a teaser for the movie.
Yeah, he's going to be locked in an A-wagon or unconscious in the back of it. Because this is their last opportunity to draw as many people's attention to the fact that, hey, they're still Walking Dead.
Right.
And what better way to kick off a 3-movie Rick trilogy than to get the opening hook out into the final episode? Especially since it's something bad must happen because Negan and Maggie are fucking off together. Mm-hmm. Daryl and Carol are fucking off together. I don't think that...
Are they? I thought we don't really know. They could stay in the Commonwealth. It's not impossible. That might be the spinoff in the Commonwealth, maybe.
They're going to be a Commonwealth PD. And it's just cops, but Daryl and Carol rolling around responding to zombies. And see, I'm saying that the satire, man.
Right. We'll see.
Finally, Mike C says, keeping it short and sweet because I'm sure I'm not the only one to point this out, but in the comics, the Commonwealth is canonically located in, or at least very near, Cleveland, Ohio. In the show, Stephanie over the radio blurts out that her group is based in Charlton, West Virginia in season 10, episode 11. This is separate from the location that she later agrees to meet him. It's weird because a lot of online info seems to have this wrong. Walking Dead Wikia, for example. I had no idea. I was fighting, like someone said